In a world of shiny helmets, spandex jumpsuits, and strange monsters, these heroes force feed you a bowl of awesome that is the Tokudon Podcast. Join Carl and Rob as they haphazardly welcome you to the exciting genre of Tokusatsu. Now, open wide.
How we doing today?
What's going on, guys?
We are talking about the thing we touched on last week, and yeah, so we have Game Demon King. What's going on? First time chatter. Love this project.
What's going on, man?
And now, granted, they binged it in one day, but they had time to process it. And Peacemaker talking about how, as expected, he is not as impressed as everyone else.
All right, Peacemaker. We'll talk because we have, before we get into everything, full disclosures. We're gonna go full spoilers. I managed to see all 10. Carl's still working on it.
Working on it. I got up to 7. So I saw the heel turn.
So he kind of stopped right when, the shit really hit the fan, which is fine because it's not that it's gonna go out of what he expects. And I think you can agree once we get there, but even the ending that they do have is like, it's not right, So
interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna pull the fucking Band-Aid off because I got really nothing else going on Toku-wise this week, and I'm gonna get into some kind of rant if we talk about anything else. So,
oh boy.
This is quite literally everything I want from Kamen Rider nowadays.
Good.
Yeah, this is on a level of Amazon's for me, and it's for all the same reasons. And I can see why people may not be into it because it is fucking edgy and gory, and it tries to be angsty and shove a message down your throat.
Legit, it's big boy Toku. It's like. It's not afraid to be all about whatever message they're trying to relay.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, when they do the Toku, it is adult Toku. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like...
Plus... I mean, it's no secret that I am a fan of fucking feral riders, and there's a lot of face grabbing and dragging across the ground in this series.
It's the most pure form of that. I love it so much. And there's not a lot of fighting, and that's another unfortunate thing. And when there is, it's fucking visceral.
Yeah,
it's brutal. But at the same time, you think about how and the core of what they're doing here is trying to ground the fantasy in something that could be happening, which is anyway, the political messages are right in your face the entire time, and you can correlate them to anything. So let's not avoid the fact that those are there. But what we're here to focus on is the Toku, which is what we came for. So they coat the Toku in this heavy realism. So when the Toku is called upon, it's not often, but it fits the plot. It fits the story. So yes, I wish there was a lot more of it, but I guess what we got is not bad, except some of them are literally just like masks and hand mitts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so if anyone doesn't know, we're talking about Kamen Rider Black Sun.
Yes, let's mention that.
Let's kind of throw a title on this. This is Kamen Rider Black
last
Sun.
week, we got into it last week, but this week we finally were able to watch more than the first episode, which was amazing.
And this is a 50th anniversary project that they did. This is a recreation of Kamen Rider Black. If you guys didn't hear the episode last week, because I may have forgot to upload the audio, I honestly don't remember. But it's on YouTube, so you can go watch it there. Shameless plug, I don't care. But this is a reboot of Kamen Rider Black. This is a 50th anniversary project that Toei is doing. And John Toei, I appreciate you as always for smacking me with that that band hammer. So I appreciate you, friend.
Sorry,
but
sorry,
it's cool. It's fine. Love you guys. You pumped out some good shit.
We'll be okay.
Yeah, but
fine.
either way, Kamen Rider Black Sun, it is, like I said, an edgy, gritty, kind of in your face, whatever Toku retelling of Kamen Rider Black. And Kamen Rider Black is one of the most popular Kamen Riders to ever exist, if anyone didn't know. It is quite often, aside from the first Kamen Rider, most people's favorite Showa series. It is,
which works because you see how the reverence they gave it. I mean, okay, it's a remake top to bottom.
Yeah.
You're not getting your Black at all. Like, you're getting names, you're getting situations, you're getting MacGuffins, but that's pretty much it.
This is I would describe this series as tired Kotaro, as opposed to
old man Kotaro, man.
It is literally old man Kotaro. And Kotaro Minami is the main character from the original series, if anyone didn't know. And in the old one, he's rough. He's rough around the edges, but he's still like a Kamen Rider protagonist. So he's like for the people and kind of happy-go-lucky, even though he's got some shit that happens to him in the series. It has been many moons since I got through it. Most of the way through it, I didn't actually finish Black because it is very episodic. It's very function of the week.
Monster of the week,
they do touch on this Kingstone stuff that this series is about, but it's really not the main focus for it turns into, I think, 100 episodes, because RX is a sequel technically, not technically, it is a sequel. So I think between the two there's like
Shadow Moon, they
episodes.
kind of something like that. They inject Shadow Moon at the very end to kind of
Shadow Moon is sprinkled in throughout it. They kind of
in.
tease him, and then when he shows up, it's like 10 of the 50 something episodes or something crazy like that. It's very episodic,
very
otherwise
cusp of it,
very Showa as well. And this is one of the things I love about Black Sun, this reboot, is that thing I keep talking about, the Neo Showa. This feels at times very Neo Showa. And part of that is because we have people running around in bell bottoms, because the story takes place at two time periods. There's the 1972 story.
It does do the time juggling.
Yes,
it does.
And it's
not
almost,
and they actually pull it off.
It feels to me almost like how they do the time juggle in The Witcher, the first season of The Witcher. It feels very similar to that, where we're kind of bouncing back and forth. But I mean, we also know that it was 50 years in the past, but we're bouncing between the two of them, and they kind of come together at a crescendo. And that's about where I stop at that crescendo. That's the end of the second act, I would say, as we roll into the third act. So I'm going to call it the heel turn. We'll go through the characters in a minute, but essentially, this is a truncated version of Kamen Rider Black, where they flush out the story of these Kingstones. And the Kingstones are these, I guess, crystalline devices.
They're MacGuffins.
Yeah,
they're just MacGuffins.
They're science MacGuffins that somehow magically make you into a cyborg creature. So do with that information what you will.
So they have to make you a cyborg in order to sustain it, but then not really, because they don't do that. It's that's why it's a MacGuffin. It's there because it is. So I think they cyberized Kotaro and Nobuhiko to make them super special.
Yes, because they harbored the. Yeah, I think so. The whole point of Kaijin in this, right? Kaijin are the monsters that you typically see in like Power Rangers, all that kind of stuff. If anyone's not familiar, Kaiju are the big ones, like Godzilla fights, like Godzilla himself. Those are Kaiju. Kaijin are the smaller ones. The origin of Kaijin is very Kamen Rider. It's a military project by this organization to create cyborgs that are turning out to be weapons. And that is where Kaijin come from.
Basic and straightforward. And that's the political thing behind it. Like, the whole thing is about how this guy was using these Kaijin to first be soldiers. Then they created this stigma behind them because they just started getting out of whack, and they tried to, it started because, and here's where the subterfuge and everything at where you're at right now, I feel was good enough to end it with maybe a one more episode where he recovers and does a final battle. Because where they go after that is very much exposition dumps to make everything kind of make sense, where throughout the whole story we're following Aoi, who is our main character. Let's just be honest. She's the main character of the story. Kotaro is very much a
You may have gone to the Shadow Realm.
From the consequences of Aoi's
Okay,
decisions. So everything that he does is because of what Aoi causes to happen.
Yep.
With it?
And so you went to the Shadow Realm for a second.
And because...
You're good now.
Oh, shit.
You came
Sorry.
back. So yes,
I'm back.
Aoi essentially is our grounding character. She's our one who's learning about the world around her for us to learn as well. She's the excuse for the exposition, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she is also the crux to Kotaro's purpose somehow magically. I think that was one of the relationships in the show that kind of just like ignited and immediately was like, okay, I'm gonna die for you. And I was like, where did this come from other than him having or her having the stone? It felt very like we went from 1 to 2, and I get the whole like he saved her, whatever. We talked about that last week in the very first episode. Kotaro saves Aoi, and it just the relationship, the extent that it got to very quickly, felt very quick. I mean, I just repeated myself twice because I couldn't think of a better word.
It's a matter of consequence. It's one of those, yeah.
It went like 0 to 90 real quick. You know what I mean? And then
what's it called?
It felt very rushed at the beginning, and then where it got to, where she eventually is like, "Hey, I'm gonna kill this thing that did this Kotaro." It felt like at that point they were at that point. It's just I feel like there could have been an episode build in between to where they got to where she's like, I'm gonna die for you. I'm gonna go live with this weird dude in this bus. We found out it was a bus, by the way. We talked about that last week. We were like, is this a subway car? It's a bus in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. Literally a bus in the middle of nowhere.
It's a bus that's parked in the middle of
in the fucking nowhere.
Exactly. But so basically after that moment, she becomes this militant thing, and she has her turn where she becomes the hero that she thinks she should be, right?
Yeah.
And then
sort of.
So it also, she's such a central character to it, because you have to take into account her parents are in hiding at first, and then they're found by Gorgum, which is the bad guys.
Yep.
Their father is sent after the daughter after all this time being gone. He fucking stumbles across her, and it's like, it's so obvious that this is not okay. You know what I mean?
Well,
but anyway,
it's not that he stumbles across her.
But that's what I mean. How would he have known all of this shit?
Because they knew where she was at that point. They were tracking her.
It's okay. Long story short,
they're a government organization, okay? So at this point, Gorgum is a political party in the government run by the Prime Minister of Japan.
Good. That's good.
That's cool. That's how you make an evil organization.
Yeah.
Cut the government down, man. Let's fucking go.
It was like, damn.
Yeah.
So moreover to that, the reason why they go back and forth in time is because a lot of the shit just circles back on itself. In the past, the Kaijin crack this or hash out this plan to kidnap the prime minister's grandson, and they end up holding him for ransom. He ends up down in the future becoming the dickhead that is in charge of them after forcing them to make a deal. You know what I mean? Like, and it's such a circular thing that you see. Like, they come up on top to end up right back where they started. Come up on top to end up right back where they started, and it ends the same way, bro. The same way. So
interesting.
Where, like I said, where you leave off is kind of like the pinnacle of it, because everything after that just kind of course it has to happen. It's so expected. You see it coming, and I'm sure Peacemaker feels the same. But it's so coming, and you know it. But the very ending of it, where they take so you have where he kills the Creation King, and from that moment you have this wow, holy shit, he's like in bad shape. What are they going to do? Obviously they're going to do one or two things to juju him back. And it's really an episode of them waiting to juju him back while filling it with the filler of the connections. There's a doctor where he has a voice box where the Aki whatever doctor who was in the beginning. That guy. Yeah, he has to speak with a voice box. So he does this expo dump where he explains they were a science project. We put you guys together. You guys rebelled. All that shit.
Oh,
right?
is he not the Creation King?
No.
Oh, okay. So we get this
Creation King.
Let me put this in context here, because we're throwing a lot of random things out there. The Creation King is this big 12-foot tall grasshopper monster that they are siphoning liquid out of to create heat heaven. I'm sorry, heat heaven that we find out is mixed with human flesh to give kaijin super regenerative abilities because they can just kind of drink blood and they get fixed.
It's their sensu bean.
Yeah. They literally, so Nobuhiko is fed this stuff and he reverts to his younger form. We see him in 1970, while Kotaro is still an old man Kotaro, and wounded. He's got a wound from when he tried to fight this 12-foot grasshopper man.
This limp is the shit. Though.
Yeah.
Like it. Yeah.
He's been running around with this for 50-something years because he tried to step up and my man said, nah. So it's this huge grasshopper thing. It is like the god of kaijin. And it is just sitting in a chair. And it is, I expected this thing when it started moving around to just turn into CG because that's how the stuff usually goes. I was so proud of them to keep this as just a big animatronic puppet.
It was so, I watched that shit 4 times. I was like, yes again.
Yep.
Yes, it's so good. It's so good.
It's so cool.
Like, he's actively, like, you can tell. And while I'm like thinking of how they're filming this, I'm like, my man is sitting on a rig. He's tearing out this giant cricket's heart, and it's like it's wailing on him. It is so cool to see. Like,
it's a cool scene.
That's what I mean. The moments that are not political garbage are really good. The Toku moments are good. They just could have been better. But he's tearing out by the way, the Creation King. Yeah, not a god. Not a god.
No, not at all. But he's the one that they're siphoning off this heaven thing, and he was even producing this before, and that's how they kind of got this deity type status. He was producing this liquid for the kaijin, and then our man Donami, who is the prime minister, used essentially this to financially excel himself in the country and a political party. This is how he kind of gains control of the kaijin's favor and Gorgum and all of this, and how he worked his way up to prime minister is through the capture of this Creation King and siphoning it off and creating this juice. It's jelly, honestly. It's not even juice.
They have this other plot in there where there's I can't even say that's a little plot because it's the driving force for Nobuhiko. Yeah. Nobuhiko is doing this at first for this woman that he fell in love with, Yukari, who was an agent back during their little rebellion. I forget what the group was called, but anyway,
Gorgum.
The whole point. Well, yeah, was it Gorgum?
It was Gorgum. Yeah, this is the start of the Gorgum political party.
Okay,
so they started as a
that's right,
almost like a war in the 70s, a anti-war like hippie movement.
It was very much that.
Literally that. It was like an anti-Vietnam hippie movement. And they started as that, and again, they're fighting for kaijin rights, kaijin, against kaijin discrimination, but they're very much a hippie allegory. The hippie movement, Woodstock, all that kind of stuff. And from that, they kind of take the name and they splinter because there's a fissure that is created basically from Yukari and her plan. And Nobuhiko and Kotaro are two main characters. Our primary antagonist, I would say, and then our the Kingstone wielders. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't know.
We'll leave it at that because they're, like I said, there's so everybody's so interconnected. Like there's 2 characters that are majorly important in the 70s, but they're minor characters, but they're majorly important to the plot. Oliver Johnson, I think his name was, whatever his name is. He is like this scientist dude who's logging all of this information. He has all this information about everything that they've done, and fast forward a couple of years into the future after Yukari comes out as being a traitor who was trying to kill the Creation King so that they could liberate all the people. It was such a why, but why? Why do you need to do that? So she lied to them, betrayed them.
Well, she was never going to kill the Creation King. She just told. So the idea is
so that she could convince them to do it.
Yeah,
so that
to give them
become it, right?
Yes. So because they own Kingstones, these fancy schmancy, extra powerful stones for whatever reason, they explained that later. I didn't get that far. They're Kingstones, so they're special stones, and when you fuse them together, they help you create a new Creation King. And essentially, that means infinite money for Donami. So his ultimate plan is to use these Kingstones and have them so he can just keep creating Creation Kings, keep siphoning off the juice, and keep creating heat heaven. That's his master plan, right? So he plants Yukari into this organization because he knows that Nobuhiko and Kotaro have stones, or I should say the grandfather planted her in this organization, because he knows, and he was the one who created this organization, and the ones who he was behind the creation of Kotaro and Nobuhiko. So he knows that they have these king stones, and that's how it all kind of ties into it. So he plants Yukari to get the king stones, and her way of doing that is saying, hey, let's kill the creation king because that'll end Kaijin suffering. And that's kind of the seed that blossoms into the entire conflict between Nobuhiko and Kotaro. They are Shadow Moon and our Kamen Rider Black, the original character from the original show. They are the arch rivals. They are the two halves of the same whole that need to find their difference in yin and yang and all that fucking duality allegory nonsense.
I mean, you also have to the main character in that moment is Bellingina. This character, like, I felt so conflicted in his contribution to this story. He's the one that kills Yukari. He's the one that sets off Nobuhiko in this fucking rage revenge thing where he ends up getting captured for 50 years and blah blah blah. But then forward a little bit, Bellingina does some fucking foul shit.
Yeah.
He is murderous. He kills fucking everybody. He kills
everybody.
He basically ends up indirectly killing Aoi's mom.
Not indirectly. Okay. He stabs her in the throat.
I'm sorry. I meant her father.
Yes.
I meant her father. But all right. So here's the chain of events, real quick. He discovers her mother and father because he's looking for the information that they've been hiding that Oliver gave to them years ago, which forced them to go into hiding, which sent Aoi to live with this surrogate who gets fucking ganked, stabbed in the neck or the head or something. She gets a sword in her somehow, which was Bellingina's work. Then
did you recognize that sword, by the way?
She loses that person. Yeah. Okay. Satan Saber?
Satan Saber. Yeah. And they did literally nothing to it, and that's the best fucking part. It is the most obnoxious fucking sword. So this sword, if anyone has ever seen it, it is the Satan Saber. It is this big gold eccentric fucking thing with a huge red blade. It is the most show of bullshit weapon you have ever seen in your life, and they did nothing to it. I respect the courage.
Nope.
And the entire point of this sword is to be granted to the guardian of the creation king. It is their protector.
Yes.
That is the pseudo myth behind this sword. Bellingina takes it. I forget how he gets it. I think he just kind of has it, right? Or someone gives it to him.
Yukari gives it to him because it should be to the one who protects the creation king.
Right, and Bellingina is like, I'll take that on. Yeah. That kind of thing. And I don't know if you ever saw the clip of how Shadow Moon takes that in the original series.
Oh, no.
And so in the original series, Bellingina is still the dude. He looks very similar. He's got the weird face mask thing going on. And Shadow Moon literally rolls up on him and just like throws his balls on the table and says, I'm your king now. And that's essentially, it's the most Shadow Moon thing you could ever possibly see. He literally just like whap, whap, takes it, and then he's like, this is mine now. What are you going to do about it? Fucking nothing. That's right. Sit down.
So you know how he does it in this show? He lays his balls on the table by jumping in front of the wannabe Trump figure and crushes his head.
Yeah, that'll do it too. That'll fucking do it too. I did see that clip. That's literally how this episode ends.
Dude, he crushes the dude's head, and then that's the trigger for his henshin.
Yep.
That's so fucking dope.
Yeah. So we should mention Kotaro and Nobuhiko. Let's go on them for a second. Kotaro, like I said, Kotaro and Nobuhiko are Kamen Riders, Shadow Moon and Black Sun. That is their titles. They, through the series up until 5 and then 7, we only see them in their Kaijin form. Their monster form,
which is pretty much it's not a vast difference, but enough
of a difference. One is literally black, one is silver. That's the only difference, really. But they do have belts that no one else does, and you have to assume that's because of the Kingstone inside of them. A little different. Their belts open. If anyone has seen the actual CSM or the actual belt, you know what it is. It's kind of it has the red stone around it, and then these kind of locking mechanisms that are just open. Shadow Moon's is very similar, but it has kind of 4 arms that are just kind of pried out from the green stone. And it's interesting because they turn into these Kaijin forms, and they turn in like Kaijin like everyone else. They kind of just like squeeze their butts real hard, and
it's like this weird little shifty thingy, poof, and then the smoky thing, and
they get the smoky thing, but it seems to be these higher end. I forget what they call them. They just call them like higher Kaijin, I think, they get this weird kind of tendril Guyver thing going on where it wraps around them and then they turn into their kaijin form, which is a very cool effect. I just don't get it.
Elagina does the same thing.
Yes, they all kind of do it. All of these stronger kaijin do
it. Right. So, anyway, so Aoi's parents are hiding so that they can hide the information from Gorgum, who's been looking for the information.
Yeah.
So, and here's where it gets fucking wackadoo, because apparently dude planned ahead and fucked over her parents, or they hid it. I don't. It's confusing. Anyway, long story short, she loses her mom, she loses her dad. But how does she do that? She loses her dad because he's sent after her to kill her to get the Kingstone after being turned into a crab kaiju. So,
which watching a crab kaiju run up the stairs is the best fucking thing I've ever seen in the show.
It was so disturbing because
he literally goes like this and then just like
you want to laugh, but then you really think about it. Like, if that's chasing you, you're not okay. It's not okay. Like, that's literally it.
If my father did that at me, I'd probably run too. To be fair.
And he's foaming at the mouth, like with the.
He's doing like the bubble foam. It's ridiculous.
Because you know what would happen is if he pinned me, right, and that bubble thing just hit me right here, I'm done. I'm done.
That's it.
He's got me captured. He can have the Kingstone. I'm done.
He can have the Kingstone.
So,
oh my God.
So he's okay. She runs. She manages to escape from her dad after being captured. She gets captured. She's transformed into a kaiju herself, bro. She's literally changed into the thing that she's so morally protecting, and has her mom watch crying the entire time to then get her throat opened by who? By fucking Belangina.
With a fucking Bowie knife. My man pulls it out of nowhere. He's got a whole Satan saber and he uses a Bowie knife.
And this is what I was saying. Like, I was so fucking conflicted because there's like, I'm like, you're a piece of shit.
Yep.
Like, holy fuck.
Yep.
And then to fast forward, shenanigans happen, bro.
Shenanigans.
Like I said,
straight up.
Shenanigans. Where Aoi discovers, the whole thing where the information that she needs in order to expose everything, in order to win, she can do this at the UN meeting that they're about to have. So meanwhile, the bad guys are gearing up for this UN council meeting so that they can defend themselves against all this bullshit. So she's like, I'm gonna raid it, I'm gonna expose them, but I need this information. Belangina gets betrayed by the guy. He's like, I don't need you guys anymore, this is over, fuck you guys. Nobuhiko, after killing the dude, Nobuhiko takes over and is like king shit. So he commands everybody to follow him. Belangina's like, fuck you, I'm not doing that.
Yep.
They killed the first pacifist leader. You remember that first guy who's like, we should fucking work together?
Yep.
The first guy who bends the knee to Donami. They kill him because the bat bitch or the pterodactyl bitch stabs him in the back with a sword or some shit. Yeah. So she's like, okay, you'll be the Creation King, or we'll follow you to kill the Creation King, whatever.
Which we should mention, the only
like,
reason that happens, or that seed is planted, is because when the pterodactyl lady and Nobuhiko fought before, he used the same fucking kaijin force power that the Creation King used. So that made her be like, oh my god, this is the new Creation King. Oh god.
Which is like, yeah, that's like fine. It's okay. I get it.
Which
but at the
also
same time,
did
it's like,
her like compatriot dude. He just like had that too. So I was very confused why she was like super surprised. Other than the fact that he failed already. So
they got rejected. They got rejected by the creation thing because they got to, anyway. So where were we? So she's like, her mom gets ganked in front of her. Belangina is like this dickhead, and then the very like after shenanigans where he gets betrayed and all that shit, he ends up defending her. Against like, I don't know, like a team of SWAT guys.
I hope to God she just slaps him upside the head.
She makes him her little bitch for like that episode.
Bad.
She's like, I'm gonna kill you for what you did, and he's like, okay, but I can protect you, and then you can kill me. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
They turn him into that guy,
Gotcha.
And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like,
that's fine.
So anyway, so he has one of the most badass fight scenes in the entire show against these 20 or so SWAT guys where it's just him and the fucking Satan Saber going ham. And it ends up breaking. The Satan Saber ends up breaking in that fight, and he ends up using the broken fucking saber to continue stabbing people. You know what I mean?
That's what you do. When it breaks, you keep stabbing.
Like, I'm just saying, like, they turn him into this fucking dynamic badass. Yeah. And in my heart, I'm like, but you killed her mom, like right in front of her. Like, you know,
that's cool. Like, you can go have your cool fight scene, right? But I'm gonna slap you upside the head. To be fair.
So, and this is where after I was like, when Carl sees this, I know he's gonna text me, and I kind of don't want to spoil it, but you gotta know, Belangina pulls what I would only expect from you.
Okay.
My man dispatches all of these people.
Does he power bomb someone?
He doesn't, but what he does, he does a lot of slamming. You'll see a lot of slamming and a lot of stabbing. But after it's all said and done, she comes out from the UN speech, and she's like, "Hey, what's up?" And no answer. And he's just standing there, stone dead.
Oh, he dies on his feet. Oh, hell yeah. That's the move. That's the fucking move. That's how I'm going to go out. Like a goddamn, you know, after I'm in like full power bomb position, and that's how I croak. Just fucking someone's fucking ankles above me. You're gonna see a crater, them inside of it, and I'm fucking dead. Oh my goodness. No. Yeah. So the fucking All Might finger. That's what it'll be.
They give him that, and it's such a badass moment. But again, that's what's conflicting about his character. It's it's a tribute to the actor, because I'm like, dude, if that could have been performed by somebody shitty, you know what I mean? Like, he sells the role fully. And I of all the people in this show, Kotaro doesn't do much changing. He just kind of goes.
He just continues to be old man Kotaro.
Yeah,
I got it.
Right. So the character arcs that are the most interesting are his and Aoi's. What's his name?
Shunsuke?
Pigeon Boy. Thank you. Shunsuke. Boy.
Before we get to Shunsuke, I'm gonna get caught up on the chat here because there's a lot of things hanging out in the chat.
Sorry, guys.
Because that's a good spot because we got some Belangina comments. Yes. So also, let's be honest here. It wouldn't be a power bomb. It would be a fucking muscle buster. That's how I fucking die. Let's be real here. And then they're stuck. Even if they survive, they're stuck. They're in the death grip. The rigor mortis. The video. So Peacemaker said Belangina's purpose was to just hold the Satan Saber. I mean, that was his purpose in the original series too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, but for that being the case, the character itself, it used him to do what I thought Shadow Moon was gonna do. You know, and given I'm not taking anything away from Shadow Moon. Yeah. That head crush, that fucking head crush.
That was where I was like, okay, Shadow Moon's pretty cool. Like at one point he runs at some SWAT dudes and like kicks off the wall and punches one and then like takes the other one out. Oh my god, that was a sick moment
when he bites the chick in the side and then he just casually just bites
that's her. The first fucking foe you see of Shadow Moon. He just bites her and then rips her in half. I was like, oh okay, this is where we're going. Got it. And then Game Demon King says that they love and appreciate that there's spoken English. It kind of shows outside of Japan. It's interesting to see because they do acknowledge it. I mean, we've always been here, right? Like, it's just cool to see that they kind of acknowledge it a little bit with the character Nick, who I believe is Oliver's son. Did I misinterpret that? Okay.
Yeah. Nick is another, and it's more to the fucking tragedy of Aoi, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He kind of. There's really not a lot to Nick unless some more happens towards the end. But the entire point is he is the one he is Oliver's son who gets Aoi the Kingstone, and then also is the one who kind of betrays her for a moment and gets her in the situation with Belangina to turn her into a kaijin.
He wanted to be a kaijin. He thought it was going to be where he was going to end up what he wanted, and not quite.
Yeah, and apparently Belangina is also the only one who had human form after he transformed, and he was similar to the one from the Shocker Leaders due to the armors. I thought they all kind of resembled their old Showa version, but I could be wrong. I don't remember what the high
Belangina
priest people look like.
A pinkish type of thing.
Yeah, Belangina looked exactly the same, other than the hue of the armor. It was like a pink red kind of thing, and then he had like the kabuki face paint going on.
Looked like a lobster.
Yeah, he looked kind of like a lobster in cool armor, but his armor's pretty sick. I kind of like the armor, honestly, even though the actor kind of a doof. He's kind of doofy. He's got a weird. To be fair, though, when I'm looking at him most of the time is in 1972 when everyone looks like a doof. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the look to look like a goof, like Shaggy, like
my man looks like Shaggy, and then he turns into like a hard Matrix reject.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing because he starts off as the leader in a way, and then everybody kind of amasses under him, and then he recognizes that he's not what he thought he was, and then just kind of assumes this responsibility. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. I wanted to like him because of that turn, but he's just that mama stabbing, man. I can't get that out of my head. It's almost as bad as Daiji pulling a gun on his brother. You know
almost,
what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, so there's there's certain things like the Daiji gun where I know, just know, right? And when you murder a loved one viciously in front of me after turning me into a monster through a very painful surgery, that's kind of where I draw the line. You can try and fucking, death hero, whatever bullshit you want. I'm still going to slap you upside the head, to be fair.
Yeah. So like she also touches him and he just drops to the floor, like face first. So
Great.
Great. That's how you know he's
like he could turn around to be like, I will protect you. And I'm still going to backhand him upside the head. Like, yeah, dude. That's what you get. Now protect me, whore.
But so, yeah, I guess Bellingina is the only character that I preferred out of all of them, honestly, because everybody else is just kind of expected.
Yeah. And especially, so you mentioned Shunsuke.
Actually, Nick, that poor fucking kid.
Fuck Nick.
Let's talk about Shinsuke.
So Shinsuke is Aoi's friend, childhood friend. And the kind of the one that put her, I shouldn't say put her on the mission, but kind of solidified her mission to be a human advocate for Kaijin rights. And he is the one, like, she lives with his family. It's a weird situation that she has going on because her parents are gone most of the time.
No, she has like a guardian. Yeah, she has a guardian, and he has his own family. But they basically
air quotes aunt
or brother, and yeah, they're brothers. So she's like as family as
she's
he
living with fucking Uncle Luke or whatever his name is, Uncle Owen. Uncle Owen.
Yeah, Shinsuke is like the weak aspect. You don't quite see his like. You don't see him as a strong character at all. He does like one or two heroic things.
Yeah, his balls grow a little bit every once in a while, but that's about it because he's an actual Tweety bird. I think you called him last week.
Something hard happened. He's literally, and I thought there were two of them. It's only one.
You're going in and out of the shadow realm, so you know.
He ends up just being this catalyst for Aoi.
You didn't.
Shit.
Yeah, you didn't hear me. Did you? You're going in and out of the shadow realm. So I'll take it over for a second while that corrects itself. Yeah. So Shunsuke is the friend, like I said, who kind of solidifies that whole thing. And in the second episode, we have this plant thing, which was honestly the worst outfit in the worst monster design in the whole show. It was very awkward. The thing we mentioned, Nobuhiko bites her in half and then rips her in half. It was honestly the worst design in the whole show. I was not a huge fan of that rose monster thing. But she breaks into Aoi's apartment and murders the guardian person. That's who it was, right? It was the guardian. Yeah. And
yeah. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't Bellingina. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was this Rose lady. Yeah. I don't know what her name was. I don't remember. I don't care. But she sets up this whole thing.
There's a lot of sub characters here.
She sets up this whole plant trap where when Kotaro comes to try and save her, he can't transform for whatever reason, probably because he's weak because he doesn't eat people at this point. Very Amazons at this right here. And Shunsuke is stomped, literally. His head is stomped in front of Aoi. You see an eyeball pop out. Like, it is literally, they took the mask, put it on like some foam and whatever, and like had the blood. It was pretty graphic.
And it's only because of Nobuhiko having the heaven that he survived that. Yes. And he should have learned the lesson to not fuck with Kaijin.
Yeah.
After getting your head crushed.
Yeah.
So he goes on and unfortunately they do this political thing with him where he gets basically butchered by the gang, the Trump followers.
The anti-Kaijin. The anti-Kaijin crew.
So This is after Aoi has suffered the loss of her parents. This is after Aoi has become a kaijin herself, and she's coming to terms with that. And she relied on him to help her come to terms with that.
And they literally fought their way out of the Gorgum Empire together.
Yes.
They literally fought their way out of this. So there's SWAT teams coming in, murdering humans and kaijin alike. There's, the Gorgum kaijin running around at the same time. They're literally fighting their way out of the headquarters for Gorgum, where Kotaro is fighting the Creation King. And they finally get out, and there's a moment where they're like, wow, you're my best friend, I love you, you're great, and I can't wait, I'll see you later, okay, I'm gonna stop over here.
Yep.
And then I was like, I know exactly what the fuck's gonna happen.
Oh my god, it was there's so many death flags. I'm like, but then again, he fought, he was coming to terms with something too.
Yeah.
He had to take a life to get out of there.
Yeah.
And he was so conflicted as to what was the point in everybody killing each other if they were all going to end up dead?
And especially when it was humans killing humans on top of everything. Because at this point, it was kind of always kaijins versus humans. Then he witnesses humans versus humans and then also murders himself. So that's where he gets this huge existential crisis. I was short of... So there's a scene where he's, right after they hug, he's walking basically by himself down a sidewalk, right? I honestly expected someone to just basically like we saw in fucking Hokkaido, I was expecting someone to just walk up and shank him. That's honestly what I was expecting. Super disrespectful, just
such a nonchalant shooting, just
just march by, keep going kind of thing. Like that's what I was expecting, and I should have seen where it kind of went. Because again, this anti I don't know what to call it, anti-kaijin crew, the I don't want to keep using the T descriptor.
It's an allegory for people. Let's just say he's the racist.
It's an allegory for 2020. Let's put it that way.
It's racist allegory character. He's just the racist that is going around leading a group of other racists against the kaijin.
Yeah.
So they corner him, they bully him, he stands up for himself, which is a big mistake, and then they end up fucking killing him.
Especially when you're a little literal Tweety bird, and there's a lot of very large men around you with sharp, heavy objects.
And it's crazy because they string his ass up, and it's like...
Yeah, which is what I kind of wanted to get to with Nobuhiko. Let's talk about Nobuhiko for a second, because this fucking turn, this heel turn, was so fucking cool.
This is the reason Nobuhiko decides to do the whole thing. No, it's cool. It's cool as shit.
It's cool as shit.
Comeuppance.
So Nobuhiko is Kotaro's brother. He is Shadow Moon, and he is the silver one, the silver grasshopper man. And he has always been kind of the one who's like, come on, Kotaro, let's do this. Let's do this. He's been the one who kind of edges Kotaro into situations. Even when they're kids, he's the one who's like, hey, our surgery scars work. I heard about the Creation King. Let's go, man. Let's go check it out. He's always been the instigator in their relationship as brothers, and as such, he's in jail. Like we mentioned, there's the thing that happens in 1972. He gets captured. He's in jail for a while. He's got a very cool Guan Yu thing going on with a beard and long hair and all this nonsense. It's pretty sick. I was like, I will achieve that one day. I was looking at it like, that's my final form. Got it.
So, I could live 10,000 lives. It never happened.
Yeah, eventually he, breaks out, and, he goes back to Kotaro, and then they have an interesting moment we talked about last week where he's like, wow, you look old. Can you just eat this heaven, please, so we can get back to the business? And Kotaro's like, no, I'm good. So they have a scuffle at one point where it's really not a fight, but it's kind of like a brotherly scuffle, right? Like
it's like, why aren't you listening to me? Like, you should just stop.
And they're just like, I'm going to fight you because I'm going to go. And that's really what it is. It's no more, no less. And then they both go anyway. And their motives kind of align at one point when it comes to stopping the Creation King.
Yes, because Kotaro's under the impression that stopping him won't solve anything, but it'll stop Nobuhiko. Yeah. So that's kind of like the whole thing. Like,
yeah, he's trying to save everyone by removing the crux of all of everyone's problems.
Yeah.
And Nobuhiko,
when the first time he tried to,
go ahead.
The first time he tried to, which is we mentioned back in the 70s, where they tried to kill the Creation King. The Creation King crippled him by crushing his leg.
With Kaijin force power, by the way. He literally raised his hand and went and crushed it.
Right. And it's the same power that, like you said before, that Nobuhiko is implied to have now, which implies that he could be the replacement Creation King.
Yeah, And that's when everyone's like, oh, he's the new one. Yes, because the high priests were all rejected. They tried to put the Kingstone together, do their thing. And Nobuhiko, while he never had, at this point in the story anyway, he never had any ideals to become the Creation King, anything like that. He really had no ideals of power, even. He was never like, oh, I'm going to be this. He was kind of...
He wanted Yukari. All he wanted was Yukari.
All he wanted was Yukari.
That was
and when the bomb is dropped on him that Yukari played him, literally, to get his Kingstone, you literally see the switch go in his head, right? The fucking heel turn. Physically, you see, like, they JPEG a switch on his forehead and goes, nope, we're done here.
Yep. And he's like, okay.
And... So he goes, okay, he breaks away from Donami, the prime minister. He goes back because at this point he was with Shunsuke. Shunsuke was in this little militia that he was creating, this Kaijin force, this rebellious. He was rebuilding Gorgum, essentially, with a bunch of young Kaijin.
That's a good way to
dudes.
put it. Yeah,
he's essentially rebuilding the original Gorgum ideal. And with a bunch of kids, essentially, like there's grown men in there, but they're essentially kids, and very unprepared Kaijin. When they attack the Gorgum base, he's leading them. Kotoro's there with them, and he comes back with 0 of them. Yeah. He goes full Magneto. That is a perfect way to describe it, Peacemaker. Full Magneto. He gets his brotherhood.
The pawns go first.
Yeah,
I have no more pawns. Oh no.
He gets his brotherhood, and then they're all taken off the fucking board. And the one who survives is like, hey man, I'm so sorry. Like, I was genuinely terrified. And he goes, you know what? I fucking get it.
I get it.
I thought that was such a good moment.
I thought he was going to kill him. I really thought he was going to kill him.
I did too, because that would have been the typical, he's an antagonist now thing. But the fact that he was like, it's okay. I get it. Really, I thought grounded him to a level where it was like, the shit that I love in villains, where you're like, I see why they're doing it. I see why this person is fucking evil. And the fact that 2 seconds later, my man goes to tell Shunsuke's parents that he died at the Gorgum raid because I think they met at some point. I forget exactly why or how, but they met at some point.
He's just walking through.
He's whatever. Either way, but he goes to tell Shunsuke's parents, like, hey, sorry, kid's dead. And that's when they look up and see Shunsuke hanging literally from the rafters from the racist group. And that's when he literally, the light switch went from like down to fucking on the floor. It just fell off his forehead. And that's when you saw his eye twitch a little bit.
That facial expression changes such like, and that's
you felt like his entire demeanor changed in that moment.
It was the accepting, like, that's how it is. Yeah. That's how it's going to be.
That's how it's going to be. And so Shunsuke's father goes to try and kill the leader of this anti-racist group, or this racist group. And right as he's about to stab, you see 2 silver grasshopper hands grab the dude's head. And he stares him in the face. And this dude starts begging for his life. Please don't do this. Please don't.
Crush.
And that crush, the blood splatters, and that kickstarts his henshin. As I mentioned before, they're wearing belts. They're normally in their Kaijin form. In episode 5, we see Kotaro do the full henshin, do his thing, activate the belt. Nobuhiko doesn't do that until this point. He crushes this dude's head. This 7 episodes in, we don't see Nobuhiko actually henshin until he crushes this man's head.
Yes. And that's when he decides, I am now going to be king shit.
And I don't know if you noticed, but at this point, we'll talk about Kotaro and his forms in a minute, but they have these kind of extra appendages on their back that they can use. It reminded me of, what's his face from Bloody Roar 3?
Shion, the Unborn.
Shion the Unborn. It reminded me of him because they have these little like extra little poker things.
But if you think about it,
they could just rip off and use as a sword.
So there's a point in there, and you didn't get there yet, but they're fighting each other. They rip each other's off and use that to fight each other.
Yes. And we mentioned that the Kaijin can eat the heaven and regenerate. None of them have eaten heaven at this point. And because they ripped it off, when he henshins, he's missing one of those extra pieces in his rider form. And I thought that was just such a subtle detail. Kotaro does it as well, because when Kotaro first henshins, he literally rips it out, and that's how we learn about the sword arm thing. But his more of hug him, almost like Eva Unit 13, if anyone's ever seen Evangelion. His arms kind of hug his. They do like they wrap around his shoulders, almost like the Japanese like tie up the kimono type thing. They do that, while Shadow Moon's kind of like spike over his shoulders and kind of create this like crest, I don't know, cape neck thing.
I like it. I like these designs.
But the fact that it stays off because they haven't regenerated is such a cool little detail that I was obsessed with watching this.
There's another, like I keep mentioning this limp because Kotaro's character is he suffered the limp originally when he got his leg crushed. Then he's fighting the Creation King again. He gets his leg cut the fuck off.
Fully off. My man literally karate chops it with a 10-foot hand.
Yes. He cuts. I think he's also cutting his own heart out at that time too.
Yes,
so
because
like,
Kotaro literally has his fucking like 3-foot heart. Like if you're watching the video, it's like the size of my shoulder width, and he's just holding this thing. And this thing doesn't chop; it like just drops its hand weight and cuts his leg off. That's all it is. The weight of his arm cuts the fucking leg.
It's completely off. Kotaro puts his leg in his mouth and drags himself out to get help to escape while fucking abandoning this beating heart that's still there.
Did you notice?
He comes out.
Did you notice the detail about the leg? It didn't de-henshin like him. It was still his kaijin form.
Yeah, so it stayed.
Fucking, I love those little details in this show. It's so cool.
He crawled out, and they end up taking him away to fucking to heal, right? In this weird thing where the whale kaijin, who's like the one good guy, he brings this weird magic conch juice, and I'm not sure if that was in the show.
Yes,
because I don't know. So the magic conch juice they pour on him, and they reattach his leg, and he after Aoi draws the RX symbol on him, his leg reattaches.
Of course.
She draws the RX symbol with her blood, I think, and it's fucking dope because it stays there. Nice. But anyway, the leg reattaches, but he still has the limp. Like,
so it doesn't actually heal
all of that. They reattach the leg and it still has the limp. Like, you went through all that trouble,
right? And
you couldn't give my man the extra 10%.
Nope. Nope. This is not a buy one get one. You get one.
It was just a weird thing. I'm like, damn, that's okay.
I feel like the only reason they kept the limp would be that they would have to bring in young Kotaro. Like they would have to go the full 9 where he gets young again. You know what I mean? So they make a point that where if he was to eat this heat heaven stuff, he would de-age. Like he would go back to his younger form because kaijin age a lot slower than humans. I don't think they say they're immortal. They just age a lot slower.
Differently, something like that.
And let's talk about Kotaro for a second because we just talked about Nobuhiko.
So
like I said, Kotaro is the same in his kaijin form. Is the same. He's just black. He is Kamen Rider Black. He is Black Sun. That is his moniker, Black Sun, which is a fucking cool ass moniker, by the way.
Black Sun.
And he is the wielder of the other half of the Kingstone. Yeah. Shadow Moon's dope too, to be fair. And his kaijin form is this kind of grotesque, again, it's the same as Shadow Moon's. They're kind of like a grotesque grasshopper man thing. They got claws, they got teeth, they got the little things I was talking about. And all of a sudden in episode 5, my man does a full henshin pose, like the henshin pose. He does the full fucking thing. And like, I appreciated it. It just felt out of place.
I see. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the situations that henshin poses, yeah, they should have went with something like Blade, where it was just kind of like, or Amazons, where it was kind of quicker, but
I just see they could have easily done something where he just like touches the belt and that activates and like forces the kaijin form into this rider form or something, because they have. I was getting to that, Peacemaker. I'll come back to that comment in just a second. So it's. I'm assuming it's how they, I don't know if, and please tell me if Shadow Moon does, if he does a full pose at some point or another. I think I saw him do the thing. He does like a reverse version, essentially.
He does the RX pose, basically.
Oh, okay, cool, sick. So I'm assuming that's how they kind of activate the Kingstone, or the belt at least, to go into the Rider form as opposed to the Kaijin form, because he can, Kotaro goes into his Rider form, but he can still go into his Kaijin form because
makes sense.
He apparently revealed this form at some point, because Nobuhiko, when he sees this Rider form, goes, "That's Black Sun." So he revealed it at some point, but we don't see him go into that form in 1970. So I don't know if that was like a lost in translation kind of thing, or if that was like, he's ascended to the Kingstone, like a creation king kind of thing that Nobuhiko is referring to. Maybe I just misinterpreted the scene.
Maybe it's just because that's the moniker, you know what I mean? Maybe he just
maybe, I guess, I don't know. But he goes into this Rider form when the belt closes and everything, and Nobuhiko's like, "Oh, that's Black Sun." Like, that's, that it was almost like, that's no longer my brother. That's the fucking
like he
dude.
Recognized it. I see. Maybe it was more along the lines of him recognizing it as the entity Black Sun.
Maybe that's what it was. So interesting. It's just for how grounded and serious this is. Watching them do the full pose every time he goes into the Rider mode is not bad. It's not bad by any means. It just feels a little out of place. That's all.
Yeah, and I get that, because I did want it to be more in the moment, but that I don't know. They had to do it, I guess. Yeah. They had to do it. So, given that Nobuhiko does a rendition of the RX pose, I'm okay with that, because at least
that's pretty cool.
We got to see RX without having RX,
which I'm gonna assume, just because of the stupid popularity of the series, we're gonna have some kind of sequel.
If there is a sequel, and here's where we're gonna tail off on the end, because like the pinnacle, which you watched, the death of the Creation King, all that shit, all that is dope.
But hang on. Then, before we get past that, because this has to do with the death of the Creation King, Peacemaker mentioned the fucking mouth. The fucking mouth. Yeah. So in his Rider form, his goddamn mandibles open, like spray open, and there's a human ass mouth in there.
Yeah.
There's literally the actor's mouth hanging out in there when the mandible opens, and he just chomps the hell out of this thing's neck.
Yeah.
So, I was horrified, and I loved every second of it.
The Creation King is actually a dude who was transformed by the same experiments.
I figured.
So
that's why I thought it was the guy in the wheelchair, the Akazuki guy.
Yeah. Nah, he's just another dude. So his death really had no consequence after the whole thing.
Because they can just make another one. I'm assuming with the fused Kingstone. That was the whole point.
Right. So that's all revealed after this shit. So it's all like, oh, so it was fucking pointless. Okay. So basically,
he was there to look cool. That's all he was.
Yeah. You get the final battle where they have to destroy the heart. That's something that's still remaining. Yes, you killed the Creation King, but the heart is still remaining,
which is still beating the whole time they're doing all this.
Right. So they do a bunch of shenanigans to get them back there. Nobuhiko and Kotaro are there. Kotaro's finally like at this point where he's just like, I have to stop Nobuhiko because I'll take care of it. Yeah, I'll take care of it. Nobuhiko's got the god complex. He's ready to fucking take over. He wants to destroy all people. Yeah. After the world burn. So he's like, I want a world where Kaijin are just, Kaijin, and there's no more people, shit like that.
So he flips it to where he wants to eliminate humanity.
Yeah, I mean, you see it coming. It's just after that moment where you see the turn, he just goes full evil, and it's
full
fine
Baron, if you will.
But so they have their final battle, and Nobuhiko, in the middle of the battle, you could see like in the desire is done after this amazing kick that should have had Rider Kick attached to it, but it didn't. You know
like
what I mean?
Them saying Rider Kick?
Black Kick, Black Sun Kick, something. You know what I mean?
He does say Rider Kick in the original show. He does give the Rider Kick.
It was so good that if it would have had that cherry on it, chef's kiss. You know what I mean? But,
which is surprising since they went with the full fucking dance.
I'm telling you, like this is the moments where they shouldn't have embraced the reality thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, they get the cake. You get the Nobuhiko kind of gives him the stone back. He's like, fine, I'm done. you don't see what happens to their bodies, but it's implied that something happens to them where they're reused and made into another creation king. Yes, Aoi, now being super hardcore badass who has her own belt and her own henshin pose.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Do
you think she could become RX instead of Kotaro?
And that's where I was kind of worried, because if there's a season 2, there's a problem, because there's not going to be Black. Because what happens is you have this entire sequence where she goes and she raids the whole thing, and she finally gets to the Creation King, who is Kotaro, who is no longer Kotaro, who is just this husk of a Creation King. She uses the technique that he taught her to destroy him.
The fucking elbow?
Yeah, the elbow to the thing. She uses that to destroy him and stab him with the only thing that can destroy the Creation King.
The Satan Saber?
The Satan Saber.
Fuck yeah, let's go.
She stabs him. He dies. He literally turns to ash. Okay. And poofs in front of her.
Bet.
You fast forward a little bit, and she's training a new contention of
like a new Nobuhiko squad.
But it's in the backdrop of the reality that even after all the shit that they went through, the government takes over and nothing changes.
Sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah. So if there's a season 2, yes, it's gonna have Aoi. It's gonna have whoever she's training, but I don't see how the hell Kotaro and Nobuhiko. How? Anyway.
Interesting.
So yeah. Other than the pinnacle, everything kind of just tapers off because it's so by the numbers by then. Because they realized that they only had a couple episodes to wrap all this shit up, so they're gonna expo dump one episode, then kind of wrap it up the next episode, and then give you the aftermath in the
which is 10,000%. If anyone has watched any of the series on fucking Netflix, that is the formula that they use. Always around the 3/4 mark, there's an episode where the main character becomes injured, and then we have a big info dump / flashback / whatever while he's being healed. Then he's healed at the end of the episode, and then we start the final act. And Peacemaker's also saying he also does a Rider Punch at one point and a Kingstone Flash to charge the kick, which is awesome. And also the beginning of the last episode, I did see the clip. It opens the same way his intro opens. You get the gate.
The final episode does do that. Yeah, that's nice.
Homage to the opening, and it's awesome.
And it's filmed grainy, and it has the haze on it.
That's awesome.
It's a nice touch. That's awesome. It's a nice touch.
Yeah, I'm excited to finish the series, and I can genuinely say there's few Toku things in general that like lock my attention in while I'm watching them. Anymore, I should say. So just to give you an idea, we've talked about Elden Ring ad nauseum on this show.
What?
Ad nauseum, and I'm not going to talk about it more right now because there's a point to this. I literally put it on earlier because I was like, I'm going to kill a couple episodes. I'll just kind of, especially when I started the series, I'll watch it. When something catches my attention, we'll turn it off. 2 minutes into the episode, nope. Eyeballs locked for the next 45 minutes. Literally did not touch that game for 45 minutes. Could not do anything I was trying to grind out. Sometimes I just do some grinding when there's stuff on.
Or it's just sitting there like, hey, buddy.
Yeah, no, we're resting at a site of grace for like an hour because I am just locked on an episode. And there's very few writer things in general, or Toku, I should say, that do that. And that's where, for me, and I understand that a lot of people are like, oh, this is a great show, but like this hit on a different fucking level. Like this is, when I say this is like when I saw Amazons for the first time, this is like that. Like this hits everything I love and I would do if I made a Toku. And this has big like Guyver reboot vibes. Like if they redid Guyver in 2020 or 2022, whatever fucking year it is, I don't even know what year it is anymore. It would I feel like it would be a lot like this. We even had the big animatronic puppet fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My God. And it was so good, man. You guys, like, I would not hesitate to pitch this show to any newbie as much as I would pitch Amazons, as much as I would pitch anything, because it's not your, it's your, like you say, the Neo Showa, where they're not afraid to give the people who remember Showa what they kind of should be into now in terms of having more of an adult taste. It's not that it has to be brutal. It doesn't have to be gory.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the case, but
I
works
prefer it that way,
story.
so that's cool.
Absolutely. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying you don't have to.
No, it absolutely doesn't. But you can still have a dark and grounded story and without it being gory. You know what I mean? Like, and you can absolutely have a story-driven writer like this and still have plenty of Toku things. Like you're saying the Toku stuff is kind of sprinkled in there. I thought it was extremely heavy on a lot of this stuff because a lot of the time, especially after the second episode or so, they spend most of their time fighting something. Whether it's Nobuhiko fighting, whether it's Kotaro fighting, between the two of them and even Aoi at one point, like they're always fighting something. And I thought that was so cool.
Yes, and then it tapers off because it becomes the political stuff in the exposition dump. So like after the episode,
you got to take a break from that just for pacing wise. Like if it was 10 episodes, if it was 10 episodes of 45-minute fight scenes, I'd get tired, and I love that shit. Like I would get exhausted by that.
So ultimately, what we're saying is, until you finish it, I do want you to. I mean, I didn't go detail for detail because there is like a couple fight scenes that you can still check out.
Oh, absolutely.
They're the final fight scene between Nobuhiko and Kotaro.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking A, man. Fucking A.
That's what's up. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
That's what I want to fucking hear.
Oh, so like again, you still have shit to look forward to.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is like I don't see a season 2 being as good as this. Even if they do shoehorn a way to bring them back, I think that's going to leave such a bad taste after what they did.
Interesting.
In this,
yeah.
You know, for me, if yeah, I don't know.
I would say so based on my impression right now, especially from what you're saying, which just fucking excites me to finish the show. Honestly, I'm so excited to finish this.
Yeah.
If they did a season 2, it feels like it would almost be like Amazon season 2, where it's like maybe not as strong. We focus on a different main character. The main characters show up for some reason. I mean, in the Amazon season 1, they do not die, so like there's excuse there, but like, you know what I mean, like we focus on someone else, we go through their story, and then the other ones are kind of like they take a back seat, but like everyone really just wants to see them anyway, so it kind of weakens the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, her being the, even in this season, she is the main character because everything hinges on her. But without her, I don't know.
Peacemaker's saying maybe don't focus on her and have her kind of take that Haruko role, which would be interesting too. Have a new main character kind of jump in here. That'd be cool. Yeah. I'd be down for that and see her kind of like take on the Kotaro role. You know what I mean? This like mentor, old man AOE.
Yeah, man. Fuck it.
I'm down for that. Let's go.
Like, as long as you make it something that isn't just because again they're implying that the world reverted back to what it was.
Yeah.
So
it's all fucking
where
pointless.
Are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go?
Shunsuke was right, man. It's all fucking pointless.
I'm telling you, man. It was good, but the bads are bad. Ultimately, I can't wait for you to finish it because you're gonna be amazed by how that final fight goes.
Yeah.
Just the
Peacemaker made a good point. If you want them back, they exist in like flashbacks and parallel to Aoi's journey. So there you go.
But I have The Last of Us. I don't want to play that again.
Last of Us 2 is great, right? That's fine. So oh
my god, we get Kamen Rider Abby.
Oh my god,
that'd be great.
I mean, that's honestly from what I saw of Aoi when this episode ended, that's kind of where the direction it was going. So
yeah,
to be fair,
full angry now. Full anger.
I fucking love this series, man, and I know that's probably not the hottest take in the world right now, but like I fucking love this series, and I don't care. Like, like this hits every note I want. It's dark, it's grounded, it's cool. The designs are gross looking. Everything looks wet. I love when all the monsters just look wet, and just goopy. Oh, it's so good.
It's
political bullshit because why not? I'm down for that shit. Down with the government. Let's fucking go. I'm down for that.
If this is the route that remakes are gonna take, let's keep it up. Let's make sure that they're invested in. Maybe because this is a 50 special, it is gonna have that extra leg on it. But I think we said before, the next remake, I would love to see a stronger remake or a Super 1 remake. But you know, I don't know enough about them, so this would be like a way to do this again. Like, give us a different story with the same aspects, and I would like to see a new, stronger, bro. I just keep fantasizing about this bulky Sao Ren looking Kamen Rider, dude. Like,
that would definitely be interesting because he, I don't know Stronger's deal. I haven't actually seen Stronger. I just want to see him fucking go into like supercharge electro mode with the fucking. I want to see him like lock his bitch up there. What's up, Ken? With the bits. Appreciate you, dude. We're chilling. We're chilling. We're talking about a new Kamen Rider remake that you might actually like because it's dark and gritty and not like the usual bullshit that I try to throw at you.
Yeah.
It's like Kamen Rider Nier. How about that? How's that for a fucking?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's near Kamen Rider near. It's very depressing. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if there's would stronger be like your top pick
I want to
for like a Showa remake, I should say.
Yeah, if you're going Neo Showa, I think, I don't know, like I said, I think the most different one, because if you do Skyrider, if you do, I don't know, who's the other one? Rider Man. I don't see that catching. Like, I don't know. Stronger for me would be like, I don't care what it is. Like, you give me a new Stronger.
Yeah. Yes, this show is very depressing, and it's on Amazon Prime, by the way. If anyone would like to watch Kamen Rider Black Sun, you can watch it on Amazon Prime right now if you have Prime. It might be delisted, so you can check if you're listening to the audio, I'll put the link in the description, but I'll put the link in chat right now. But yeah, it's fuck. If I had to pick one, I think I mentioned last week, like, I would love to see Super 1 just because he has the gauntlet thing going on. I would love to see that, like, redone. I think
Super
like, I would
1
love
Tournament
to see
of Power.
Yeah, exactly. Give me that shit. All right, I am putting the link in chat right now for anyone who would maybe want to watch, and like I said, it'll be in the description below if anyone would like to see it, if you're listening to the audio version or YouTube or wherever the hell you watch this show. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. Appreciate you.
And we'll probably
Super 1. I'm still trying to think of like a Showa thing that I would want to see. I honestly, like, Super 1 I would like to see Rider Man, just because I think Rider Man's a goofball. I think if we got like Black Sun version of Rider Man, I'd be kind of down for that.
No, wait. You actually have an idea there. What if you make Rider Man a comedy? Like, we have Gritty already. Why don't we lighten it up with a comedy?
Just steer into the goofiness.
I just think that the goofy thing with the lower jaw being exposed, it's always been like the weakness of Rider Man, just because it's just you have half the selling, I don't know. But with that ability, if you get somebody who can really fucking do facial expressions, you know what I mean? Like, I could see that being a dope ass comedy.
Okay.
With rope arm, you're afraid of rope arm?
Yeah, I'm terrified of rope arm. Peacemaker's also saying we could finally make Tackle official too. So that'd be kind of cool to see Tackle in like a 2022 gritty, whatever, Black Sun version.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we're gonna go gritty, then that's a whole different story.
Oh, I forgot Zekross. Zekross would be pretty cool just to see a full like ninja village.
Zekross would have to be fucking straight dark.
I want to see some fucking like ninja village bullshit. I want to see fucking Basilisk Kamen Rider. That's what I want to fucking see. That's literally the story.
Zekross, who's willing to do whatever it takes to get the shit done. So, like, yeah. What do you need? For that. You need me to pretend to be a fucking blind old fart? Done.
Dunzo. I'm just looking at the list of Showa riders right now, and I mean, my boy Shin's real dark already. We could just come on, Toei, fix that suit.
Yeah.
Stop photoshopping him into the fucking anniversary movies, please. Just fix the suit, man.
But if you do Shin, all right, you give Shin another chance. What? I don't know. Who are his villains? Can you tell me any of them? Like,
the movie, it's literally just like Nega Shin. It's basically what it is. It's like another kaijin, that he just fights and messes up, and it's really sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like,
because to protect some fucking telekinetic baby, psychic baby thing, it's very complicated. He has a son, and it's like telepathic and also communicating with all the kaijins, or at least just him. I don't know. It's very weird.
No, I think it's just because you're still hung up on this Hellraiser thing, so you want that gruesome transformation to be like the worst thing ever filmed on film. Just straight up. Oh,
I want nightmares from it. That would be so cool. And yes, I am still on a Hellraiser kick. Don't judge me. I think the cinematic lore is fucking cool.
No judgment. Just saying. I can see where a melting biomechanical henshin is just like
of some animatronic like 80s mask just
The
fucking
eyes.
John Carpenter's The Thing, essentially. Yeah.
It's that thing. It's this move. Like, he has to do this move.
Yeah, because they always have like John Carpenter's The Thing. It's that exact. They have that puppet that goes with the face, and that's all it does. You have to have it. Yeah. So there's also, looking at some of the other riders on here, we had Yango and Sango in their own movies.
Those are technicalities.
Those are technicalities, but I mean, I guess you could. I mean, I'm down for a Yango movie. I think that suit's dope as hell.
Do you keep?
I just think because it's the 35th anniversary of Black, which is also partly why they chose this as well. It lined up the 50th and 35th. Black RX is most likely going to be the next one because next year would be the 50th anniversary or the 35th anniversary for RX. Okay. I feel like that's most likely the next project, but I would be. I mean,
it would be for sustainability if they just consider doing that. Making yearly re-releases.
I don't know if I want yearly though. So we got Amazons back in 2016. And I think that was a good buffer between the second season and the movie. And this, I think that was a good pace to release them. Cause I think if we got a gritty Kamen Rider every year, one, they would just detract in quality, honestly.
Right. Well, diminishing returns are going to be the case no matter what.
So I think Amazon's kind of laid the groundwork for this, and this is a better version of the Amazon story overall, personally. Yeah. It's a more refined version. I shouldn't say better. It's a more refined version of what that tried to do, right?
More focused.
More focused. And, they just did better things with making it larger scale, but at the same time, it stayed... Honestly, this is more of like the second season of Amazons, and they kind of did that better. Because the second season of Amazons is very like us versus them sort of thing going on.
Nails.
Yeah, and Nails. It's all right. The upgrade Amazon Omega is not great in my opinion. So
no. But I like the strap look from, I don't know.
Naos, the Naos design is cool. Don't get me wrong. Yes. But the Omega upgrade form is not great in my opinion. It has that black like weird cyber goop on it and stuff. It's not great.
Fair. That's fair.
Just not great. Naos is a solid design though.
What about Jay and Zeto?
I mean, I'd watch that shit. Give me Kaiju Kamen Rider again. Let's go.
Jeez, Jay. Okay, well, all right. Okay.
Let me see fucking legendary Kamen Rider Jay.
You do like a Pacific Rim type of situation, right? Where there's a portal that's being woken up, and you have the Kamen Rider J system, and you have only one guy who can use it.
Have you ever seen Kamen Rider J?
No.
My man gets the power from Gaia. Quite literally.
The spirit of the earth?
The spirit of the fucking earth. That's amazing. Man gets inherited by the spirit of the earth, and he fights some goddamn aliens that are just like, hey, I'm here for the spirit of the earth. What's up? We're gonna make the earth power ours. And he's like,
okay, so you take that story completely. You shove what I just said right in the toilet. You flush that twice, and you go with that, and you make it new.
It's Holy fucking shit. Great. It's cool. And then he does the henshin. Jay, fucking cool.
And I
like this movie. They're on YouTube, by the way. Toei Tokusatsu World official. You can watch all three of them right now. Shin, Zeto, and Jay.
What is Zeto's?
Zeto is fucking cool. Zeto is like Shin is fun because it's like doofy. It's my kind of thing. Like Shin is fun for me, but I get it's a terrible fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Like it's like the first Guyver. Like I know it's bad, but I fucking love it. Zeto is just fucking cool. It's Keita Amamiya. I think Keita actually directs all three of them, but Keita Amamiya, it's basically like Hakaider, but Kamen Rider. He fights this cool fucking goopy robot designed thing. Like, so this pool master computer type thing makes a robot that's like an assassin droid essentially. But it's like a cool Keita Amamiya monster design. It's not just like some fucking like HK-47 bullshit. It's like an actual fucking monster. And he ends up fighting it, and like I forget why, but like one kid that he meets gets like kidnapped, so he has to go save them, and it's just this like brutal fight of like they just beat the piss out of each other, just like Hakaider, nice. Where they just beat the piss out of each other, and I was like, this is the shit I'm fucking here for. This is why I love Keita Amamiya when he directs anything.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch Zeto and Jay.
Yes, they are all on YouTube. You can go watch all three of them, and I believe the Zacross Showa crossover movie is on there too. It was for a little bit. I don't know if it still is or not, but you can watch all 3 of those movies. They are a fucking trip. Kamen Rider J is, if I had to rank them, it'd probably go Zeto, Shin, J. J is fun. It's just, it was not as like over the top and ridiculous as the other 2. So it was much more in line of what I think of like a Kamen Rider. That's all.
I'm for it. I mean, if you're
Cool.
if you're gonna suggest it,
Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it, because if it gets you that hype, there's no fucking way it's bad. You know what I
Shin
mean?
is terrible, but I fucking love every second of it. It's fucking terrible.
There's a difference. I know full well about shit. So
Yeah,
it's,
I'm here
I
too,
know what
guys.
to get into. You guys remember? You don't remember? It's okay.
Oh my goodness.
I'll just come
He's
anyway.
literally photoshopped into the anniversary movie. It's wild.
John, I paid for my own ticket, my own flight, my own hotel. Can I just be on set, please?
All right. Mike, can you grab the fucking suit out of the garage, please? It was eaten by some bugs like a week ago.
Do we have an extra sandwich for this guy? I'll eat out the garbage. It's fine. Just let me be here, please.
I brought my own suit.
Poor shit. Poor shit. So yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, no. Oh,
Or you
poor Shin.
or you bust out a Freddy vs. Jason and you have Shin versus fucking Stronger and just let them go at it.
Shin doesn't need to lose again. It's fine. He already lost. Don't kick a horse while he's down, all right?
One day. But again, the only 2 that we didn't mention that could be potentially dope is V3 and X. But
like at the same
X
time,
being
I feel like I don't care.
well, that's what it falls in the same thing as Skyrider, where it's not so, they're not significant difference. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's
if you had to, because we are old and dying slowly at this point, or fast, depending on some of us. I'm like half dust at this point, so it's fine. I shake and dust just kind of flies out.
Yeah,
so
no, I get you,
right.
Man. I get you.
If you had to pick a Heisei Phase 1 rider to kind of get this treatment, what would it be?
I've been pitching it, and I'm gonna keep pitching it. Old Man Kuga.
Old Man Kuga? Okay.
Old Man Kuga, bro.
You just want you could literally just Photoshop Kuga onto Kotaro, and it would be the same thing.
You could, but for something
Dagobah is just slapped over Nobuhiko.
Yo, can you imagine if Dagobah comes back, right? And this is what I see. He's coming back because Agito gets wiped out. That's why he's back.
Oh, you would make it an actual sequel, not like a reboot thing.
No, straight up, he's coming back, but he needs a new power up, a new force, a new everything, fusing with Agito.
Not Ultimate Rising Pointy Shredder.
Yeah, because if he breaks the world, then what's to save? So that's the point. He has to nerf himself,
right? I mean, his kick has a 14 block radius, so,
so
what is the next upgrade gonna do?
It's just gonna be 15 blocks. It's just that little extra.
It's the country. It's fine. It's fine.
But that's all I would like to see, something that visceral done with him, because it's just been, he's the only one where we haven't had anything ever. You know what I mean? Nothing. So
I have a different idea.
Okay.
And it's kind of a reboot at the same time, but steer into, you can even do a time bounce kind of thing, sort of like this one does, but steer really hard into Myth Kuga, the fucking myth itself. Old Kuga, the first Kuga.
The old King Kuga.
Old King Kuga, yeah. Steer into that, the original Grongi fight, and make it like a period piece almost. I would be down for that shit.
You just want them to speak Grongi the entire time.
I just want them to speak Grongi the whole time because I'm fucking impressed by it. That's all I want. But I think that would be so dope. Just dig your heels deep into the mythos. That's what I want. Even if they did a bounce back sort of thing, where they, mirror, even if it's the same fucking dude, you know what I mean? If he just wakes up and it's the same dude, man. And not so much someone inherits the belt, that kind of thing. Do an Encino Man fish out, maybe a little more serious. Just get Brendan Fraser to be a Kamen Rider.
No, you end it right there. You end it just as Yusuke gets it.
Oh, as he seals it away.
You know what I mean? You tell his whole story. Yep.
That'd be cool.
You tell his whole story.
I just really want them to so we've had several of these reboots now, right? Or just in general, we've had some of these darker Kamen Riders, and they're all tech based. I would love to see a real deep mythos base, the mythical more side of Kamen Rider, kind of like Kuga, if they're gonna do that. I just think that would be really cool. And if not, there's always fucking Blade and Gabido and all my usual picks. So, to get like really dark, I would be interested to see like a straight up horror season of Kiva, like straight up horror. Not even fucking pretending to be like kind of dark and gritty. Just a fucking horror season.
This is the chance to actually turn Basha into something respectable. Like,
you mean use it more than fucking 2 episodes?
You actually embrace the idea. Yeah, but like the mythos of the Kappa are kind of lame. You
it's not Kappa, it's the creature of the Black Lagoon.
You turn it straight up. That's what I mean, but they don't do that. They treat it like a Kappa. It's weak. The creature from the Black Lagoon is supposed to be intimidating and frightening and all that shit. Like, I don't know.
Do you remember? Here's the Kappa we do go with, right? I don't know if you remember this because I was actually thinking about this episode the other day. I was like, oh man, I was thinking of stuff we could review, and I was like, oh shit, we already did that. Do you remember the Kappa from Karas? The wrestling dude.
Oh,
the big mechanical fucker. That guy. That's the Kappa you use for Basha.
That's what I mean. So like you do this story where you have like all these monsters that are going to war, and then they get fear struck in them because who's coming back but Daddy Kiva has to team up. Yeah, and that's such a miscast. You
just want the fucking alpha storyline from Supernatural to be a Kamen Rider. That's all you want.
Yeah, I mean Leviathans are also nice, but
they're pretty dope. But
yeah,
you just want Kamen Rider Supernatural.
Bad season.
Don't lie.
Or you make them all Jefferson starships. How's that for fucking?
No, because those are fucking.
You know
dumb.
what I mean?
They're fucking dumb.
No,
they're so dumb. They were so dumb. They were such a cop out. Oh my god.
That's the point.
This is not a Supernatural podcast. I will not get into this.
Oh yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. But we could.
We could make a fucking Supernatural podcast if we really wanted to. Oh.
So okay, but I this whole thing with the remakes and all that shit, we've been doing one after one, and I think the only one that I'm trying to brush up for is the Cosmic Fury coming out for Dino Fury.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be something that's completely different, if I'm understanding, and I'm bringing this up because it's tying into what I've been getting into. You haven't done much Toku this week, like you said. I went on a binge on Battleizers. I didn't know how different they were, mm-hmm. and how many there have been,
mm-hmm. and so how they are exclusive to Power Rangers.
Yes, and I like this idea of a Battleizer. Mm-hmm. So where I'm going is like my favorite one that I've seen so far, which is the most ridiculous one I think,
mm-hmm.
is. And I think you'll know the name of it because I don't. This one.
Is it the Battle Cod piece? Oh, this is the Hurricaneger one. Ninja Storm.
Hurricaneger.
It's okay. Ninja Storm, yeah.
So explain to me this, because what I see here is this supposed to be his Zord that he's taken aspects of? Because it's very Voltron. Like,
no. So they usually get so all the Red Rangers in Sentai always get some kind of like power up Zord, right? They always get something.
Right.
And later some of the other ones get their own Battleizers. Sentai has kind of adapted the Battleizer thing a little bit more. Like Ninja had one, Q Ranger had one, or Kyoryuger had one, the carnival form, all that kind of stuff. They've sort of adapted it. In this one, I don't remember what exactly. It's like an eagle or something like that he gets. And that kind of grants him the power of the super mode. There's 2 forms to it. There's the flight mode and then the fucking like armor mode that he gets. You're looking at the flight mode here. There's like a standard, I'll send you this picture here. Like when he's on the ground, he just fights. He gets like rubber abs. It's kind of funny. I don't remember the context. It's been a while since I watched Ninja Storm. I don't remember the context to it, but yeah, this is the Battleizer that he gets. And eventually they'll start like sharing them, things like that. Yeah. Sentai used the SPD one for the Deca Ranger team up movie. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's cool. Yeah, the Deca Ranger one is kind of wild. Yeah.
Well, so the reason why these came up is because I was looking for somebody we could do as our hero spotlight this week, and I ran into a YouTube channel. I posted the link a little earlier. Oh shit.
That is the SPD one. Yeah, it's the Battle Cod piece. It's lovingly called. And then he equips a robo dog.
What?
So yeah, so there's a robo dog that he gets this form from that he pals around with, and he equips it, and he gets a big dumb.
That's not bad.
He gets a big dumb fucking like Gundam Seed sword.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
It's pretty sick, actually.
And it's more of the equipments that I like. Like, all right, so let me tie this in. The person I wanted to spotlight, their name is Cadiant. They are a YouTube channel I found. They went into like these Power Ranger exclusive forms, and I'm trying to brush up on all my Power Ranger stuff, and that's where I got into the battleizers and like watching scenes where they're fucking being utilized, and because I know Cosmic Fury is coming, I'm trying to debate if I want spoilers, because this is going to be the first time where I'm actively ready for a Power Rangers rather than just, oh, hey, it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, given that there's no spoilers, given that this was the battleizer for Dino Fury, what are they changing?
So between Sentai and this, they changed nothing. I believe he gets the power from whatever Void Knight's character is in Dino Fury or Ryu Soldier. So I don't know the context of this form in Dino Fury. I really don't. In Cosmic Fury, they're coming up with their own suits. So they probably won't use any of this stuff. And I have a feeling
these powers. Okay.
I just have a feeling they're going to eventually go into the Q Ranger suits. That'll be like upgrades.
They've released some of the images of them already, and they look enough different that, I'm trying to phase what I've already seen out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like they're going in like the, I don't know. It does look like the Q Ranger thing, but it's very, I don't know, old school too, where it looks like a single piece rather than all these complicated parts. Yeah.
It's hard to tell just because they're like concept arts too. Until I actually see like in a frame at the very least, or like promo images, promo posters, whatever. They look like they're just kind of like modifying the Dino Fury suits. The Ryu Soldier suits, that kind of thing, and they're just maybe adding some accents to the helmets, stuff like that. They look like they got some new weapons, that kind of thing. They have the Q-Tama in their weapons, so I'm assuming they're going to eventually get like Q-Tama forms, like the actual Q Ranger forms. So I'm assuming this is what I'm assuming, right? In the 10 episodes that we're going to get of Cosmic Fury, they're going to build the Q Ranger team. They're going to recruit. It's going to be a whole bunch of let's recruit a new friend almost every episode, sometimes two.
Oh.
And then eventually, Cosmic Fury Season 2 is just going to be Q Ranger.
That makes sense. Sense.
I think that's how that's going to go, because apparently they're doing a lot of like space travel to finish off whatever Zed's getting into. So I feel like that's how that's going to go. I'm sure we'll get one of them that's like from the Alien Ranger planet. I forget what the planet's called, but like I'm sure we'll get one of those guys back, that kind of thing. Which would be cool to have like an Alien Ranger. It'd be cool to have like a little Alien Ranger callback, because I feel like we don't get Alien Ranger a lot.
Oh wait, no.
Kaku Ranger's pretty sick.
Aquatar?
Aquatar, yes, it was Aquatar.
Yeah. Yep. Aquatar.
I mean, I don't know, Cosmic Fury's whatever. I gotta finish Dino Fury first before I have any opinion on Cosmic Fury.
I mean, I'm about to finish Dino Fury, so that's why I'm gearing up for the Cosmic Fury. I'm getting excited because I'm like, I like these suits. I don't want them to change unless they change them for the better, which I can only hope for. So
I don't care for these suits personally. Like, I think they're fine. I don't feel any way strongly about them. That's kind of the thing.
Fair enough.
I like them. I also don't like them at the same time. You know what I mean? I'm very like meh about them. Like, they're fine, I guess. That's really what it is.
The reason I was bringing this up is because I was, as you know, I'm always working on our own shit, and one of the power-ups is a flight kind of booster design, and I saw one that I really like, but since it's already taken, I'm gonna come up with something else. But like this one, I really like the idea of these wings that just pop out of this, and I think it's the Quantum Ranger.
Yeah, this is the Quantum Ranger. He's also on rollerblades, just so you know.
I didn't see rollerblades.
Yeah, no, he's also on rollerblades. Yeah.
That's depressing, but also kind of okay.
That's the Quantum Ranger from Time Force. He gets, there's two battleizers in that one, because so Quantum Red and then the Red Ranger both get a battleizer, and he's on rollerblades. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I just saw this and I'm like,
Yep.
wow, I actually like the wings on this.
Yeah.
Until I found this, and I don't know if this is official or not. You can tell me. And this was the one design that I'm like sold on.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know if this is real or not.
Yes, this is actually. So this
Oh
is.
my god.
So this
What
is.
this?
You're gonna get the whole kit and caboodle here. So
right.
in Soul of the Dragon, which we had a very long conversation about on the way up to NYCC, this is
right.
the form that Blake gets, who is the Blue Ranger in SPD. He eventually upgrades to Red Ranger when he gets in the Once a Ranger, I believe it is. One of the crossovers, he comes back as the Red Ranger because Jake Langdon, the Red Ranger, retires at the end of the series. So he becomes Red because it's a police force. They rank up. And then by the time Soul of the Dragon comes around, where Tommy's son joins SPD, he is now Deca Master. He is Doggy Kruger's position. He is the head of SPD. So he gets his own version of the Doggy Kruger Shadow Ranger. And that's what this is.
We talked about it, but I didn't get to see it.
Yeah.
Now, holy shit.
Yep. So,
As soon as I saw this, I was like, if I get a Sentai suit, please make it this.
Yep.
Please make this the suit. This is
pretty
fantastic.
freaking cool. So.
And now he's like some sage rider. He's like a legend. Like, come on.
He's just like, he's a legend. He's a legend ranger at this point. So, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool little thing. He runs SPD because that's what I think his son's name is Jake, Tommy's son. His name is Jake, and he joins SPD eventually as the SPD green, and he has the dragon shield on over the SPD green outfit, which is pretty cool little touch. Because he inherits the green coin power. So pretty cool little thing.
Well, any designs like that, the simplistic, and I'm always kind of keen on the high collar look too. For some reason, it's just one of those things that I really like on armor.
Mm-hmm.
But this is all stuff that I found because of that. Excuse me, the YouTube channel I found, Katie, and all they dropped a couple where they're just showing unused suits, unused Ranger concepts, a bunch of older ideas for their OC characters, which is another kind of dope idea. I don't see too many of those anymore.
Mm-hmm.
People creating their own OCs who's like, that you see a lot based on current writers and all that shit, which is the expected. But this one, took an extra step, come up with like best matches. You know what I mean? So just check them out. Give them a listen. They have a bunch of cool stuff. Some stuff like from all over the place. Kaiju designs. You'll see. I really appreciated them that they seem to be as passionate. They took a look at Geats. They seem to have an optimistic view on it. I wonder how they feel about it now. So, I'm pitching them because this is something that I like to see people coming up who just find the different things in Toku and aren't just the typical.
Yeah, so that is kind of the spirit of the hero spotlight. Cadian is our hero for the week. Again, it's just to point out people in the community who we think do some cool stuff or, just do something different, fun, things like that. Cadian is on YouTube. You can also follow him on Twitter, Instagram, and I don't know what this one is. Is it DeviantArt? Yeah, it is DeviantArt. Good Lord, I haven't been to DeviantArt in ages. You can actually see a lot of their custom designs on DeviantArt. That's pretty cool. So you can go to Cadian's YouTube page. I will post the link right now in the chat, and then I'll have it below. You guys can check it out. Make sure you go follow them on all of the socials. I just did because I didn't know about them until just now. So I have followed them on all the stuff. Make sure you go Twitter, YouTube, all the fun stuff. Go support people in the community, creators in the community, just fans of Toku things, because we're all in this shit together, yo.
Mm-hmm. That's the idea, man. We're here to help each other out. I just see this video right here. Riders with Pokemon types. I didn't see that, and now I'm excited.
Dang.
I see just the thumbnails. There's a 02 who's a bug electric, and Evil who's dark, obviously. But
apparently, Birth is steel and G is dragon psychic. Or is that? I'm sorry, that's not G.
Agito.
That's Agito shining.
Yeah. G would be, what would G be?
G would be drunk.
Normal. G would be a normal
type. Absolutely. So that is Cadiant. You are our hero spotlight. Yay! Also, what's up?
Shout outs, guys.
Do some great work. So yeah, go check them out. Go support people in the community. So yeah.
Man, I'm okay. Obviously, you would make Saber Dragon fire, right? What's cosmic?
Cosmic would be fairy type.
Oh, broken. Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Or dragon fairy.
Dragon fairy, just go full, like completely nothing's gonna hurt me.
Yep. I only hurt myself. So
Dragon.
yeah. Couple news things were announced over the last few weeks that we can get to before we peace out of here.
Sure.
One of them is the 20th anniversary of Abba Ranger. The Visa Next was announced, and a new form was revealed as well. So,
Really?
well, yeah, so that is Dino Thunder, speaking of Power Rangers. They did show a new form. I'll pull it up in the screen here in just a second.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
because we had a
went
spirited debate, not really a debate, we just had no idea whether it was new or not, or if it was just the Triassic form from Power Rangers. But it is a new form, and it looks like they're kind of like combining all of their power into one. Speaking of Voltron, that very seems to be what it is. So I know a lot of people are really excited about that because Shout TV just released Abba Ranger on Blu-ray or DVD, one of those two. They just released the full season set, so you can now pick up Abba Ranger. And also, speaking of 20th anniversaries, Hurricaneger is also getting a Visa Next 20th anniversary movie, and they also have a new form, which is a kind of dope looking form. It's very like Village, speaking of Ninja, it's like Ninja Village Leader, which is very fitting for Hurricaneger. Yeah. So, you know, that's what it is. They also steer into, I don't know if you ever saw Hurricaneger, or at least the roll call. They steer really hard into the Kabuki aspect. So that's why it has that really Kabuki warrior thing going on.
I'm with it. I'm with it. And then he has a Naginata. Is that his literal weapon in the show?
Not in the show, but actually, I don't remember the show. But it's got a new one now. So that's neat.
I'm with it. That's fucking dope. I
really want to watch Hurricaneger, actually. That's one of the ones that is high on the list because I always loved Ninja Storm. I was a huge fan of that one back in the day. I always thought the Zords and stuff were really cool. The whole gimmick and everything. And then you have like the rival ninja villages that form the team kind of thing. You have the Thunder Rangers and the fucking Wind Rangers, which is really cool. That's why you have like the Navy and the Maroon. They're like a rival ninja village. It's very cool.
So that's where the Kabuto and the other one are from? I got you.
Yeah, the Hercules Beetle and Kabuto. Yeah.
Dub that.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, they eventually befriend them, as they do. So, it's cool. I'm here for it.
I'm digging it.
Yeah. Other than that, just to give a quick scroll here, just to make sure, Outsiders Episode 1, they did demonstrate the CSM for the King Black Sun driver, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And Monster Rancher Ultra Kaiju came out, so make sure you guys go get that if you want to raise a kaiju.
The other day was Big G Day. They announced the movie coming out next year.
Did they? I missed that.
Yeah, there's a movie coming out next year. There's a project they have coming. I think it's 2 projects they announced.
Hang on now. I didn't know this. I was working all day.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I did see they announced that. They released that video of that CG fight between Big G and Gigan Rex.
Gigan Rex, yes. So I will take this one.
Yes.
So on November 3rd, which is the original, it's Godzilla's birthday. It's the original premiere from 1954. November 3rd is when Godzilla premiered in Japanese theaters. And as such, it is now his birthday. We just hit 68, I think it was. Something like that. Yeah. So they released a CG movie of Godzilla versus Gigan, and it's not just any Gigan. This is so if anyone is not familiar with Gigan, he's the one with the hooks, got a little hooks, phaser looking eye, bird beak, got the buzzsaw on his chest. That's Gigan. Gigan has always been a robot alien weapon type thing. It's always been that. It's never been anything different. So the story or the movie itself opens with a bunch of Gigan kind of pillaging Japan, and there's a very interesting callback to the final Heisei movie, which is Godzilla vs. Destroyer, which we talked about way back when in the first teens of this show.
We were young and
we were young, and I still fucking love that movie. Which, if any of you guys don't know, that is my favorite Godzilla movie of all time. Godzilla vs. Destroyer. They call back to that as, Godzilla Jr. is roaring in the smoke and the fog. It opens with that again, and they talk about how Godzilla had another fight for Godzilla is coming, and Gigan happens to be that fight. So it's fighting, 4, 5, 6 of them at a time. And then
I didn't know that there were that many of them.
Not usually. Typically, it's only one, because they can't afford more than one suit. But
I mean, fair. But I didn't know it was like a space-faring species.
Yes, shit. It's not a species. It's literally a robot. It's a battle droid.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's a battle droid. It's always been a battle droid.
Okay.
Yeah, like a bioweapon kind of thing. And so the only time we've really had like more than one Gigan is in Final Wars, where it goes from Gigan to Mecha Gigan. And that's when it gets like the dual chainsaws. That thing.
Yeah, that angry thing.
That angry ass thing. So in this one, we have 5 or 6 of them floating around, and Godzilla's trumping all of them like they're the chumps that they are. Even though I love Gigan, it's a cool design. And then Gigan Rex comes, and it's this one that's like twice the size of the other ones. It's big and red and angry, and it starts to give Godzilla a run for its money, and then it fucking unleashes Gundam bits at one point. Oh my god, it was such a good CG movie. It's on YouTube. You guys can go check it out.
It has whips. It breaks out whips. Like it's just it's nutty.
Not just sword arms and hooks. They turn into Ivy whips, like from Soul Calibur. They just chinked away whips.
I'm like, this is like familiar. That's Ivy's fucking blades. There you go.
Yep,
so
that's
yeah,
what it was.
And it's pulling out like parkour moves. Like this short.
Yeah, it's floating around. It's wild.
Like 6 minutes, but it's like nonstop, just fucking each other up. Like, and Big G breaks out like the
design with Godzilla is wild too. Like, so Gigan Rex is floating around, and there's a couple times where they harken even back to like Legendary, where it just swats him out of the air with his tail.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. There's so many references in this just in the design alone. It's very it has kind of the millennia thing going on, but it's also very old, like later Heisei. And then the spikes themselves are very Millennium meets Legendary. There was a lot of design inspiration from almost like what they did with King of the Monsters Godzilla, where it kind of took pieces from every era. They had the same thing going on, but this was more of the Japan version of it.
So what is this white burst that comes out of him?
I don't know. I was watching and I was like, is this the new Burning? Is that what this is? This is interesting.
I thought it was Burning. I thought it was Burning, but I guess it's something new. It's something Ultra new. Instinct Big G. That's what I'm going with.
We're not doing that.
For some reason, it's white, and he just blasts away Gigan Rex.
He goes Super Saiyan. It's kind of Burning, but not at the same time, which I'm curious if it has to. So Burning was kind of like a nuclear reactor melting down. That's why Burning happens, right? Because Godzilla has a nuclear reactor inside of him. Essentially, I wonder if this is more of like a cold fusion kind of thing.
Ooh,
kind of go reverse with it. I don't know enough about nuclear reactors to give you more information about that, but I'm curious if that's kind of the idea behind it. If there's some kind of reverse version that they may do now, or a way to cool it down that's kind of giving him a power boost. That is the inspiration.
Cold breath.
Ooh, there is an Ice Godzilla. That is a thing.
I think I remember that.
I remember from some fucking mobile game or some bullshit like that.
Hold on. I think I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's from like a mobile game.
Yeah, I remember this image.
It's Godzilla Earth with some icicles on it. That's all it is. So Godzilla Earth is from the Netflix series, if you guys have ever seen that. And I have totally never, ever talked shit on that series ever on this show ever before. It's not the most boring thing I've ever watched.
Praised it. It is an amazing piece of.
We will not be reviewing those movies on this show because I don't want to put that kind of negative energy in my life again. I was very upset with those movies. I do not like those movies. I think they are absolute garbage. Yeah, that's that. But yes, Godzilla official. So 11/3/23 is the planned release date for this new movie. It is going to be directed.
No hints.
Nope, we just get an image. It is a swoopy G. Get out of here, IGN. Okay. It's a swoopy G. That's all I got. But it's directed by Takashi Yamazaki, who has done the Parasite live action adaptations, and Dragon Quest: Your Story, which is the CG series, Dragon Quest series that came out. And it's his first time directing a Godzilla movie. And he also directed Lupin the Third, the First. I haven't seen that one, but I think that's the one with the weird...
Lupin the Third, the First?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it.
I think that's the one with the... If you ever saw that crazy, like, axe cutting the arm clip from an anime, I think it's that one.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what they killed Shin Godzilla 2 to make. So... You got. I have some high expectations for this movie.
So it's fair to say that we might still get Shin Godzilla 2 in a different way.
No,
because I would like to see
the new. In the short, it did have. There was a little bit of a design reference from Shin Godzilla 2, as well. I should say not 2, but as well. There was a little bit in there, so they acknowledged it in design at least.
Minus the hinge jaw.
I want the hinge jaw. I like the fucking hinge jaw. Okay?
I know. I'm with the hinge jaw.
Did you notice that he actually fired the lasers out of his back?
From the dolphins, right? From the
I was like, that's a Shin move. That's a fucking Shin move there.
Telling you that.
So
we might still get it.
They acknowledged it at least. So
or he'll get the focal beam.
If he gets the focal beam, that'd be pretty dope.
Just
the noise. I just want the noise. That's all I want.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Fuck yeah.
That was. I like that scene a lot. I don't know if you guys knew that. That's my favorite scene. I like it. The music and everything. It's just too fucking good. I'm not gonna play it again because the last episode got fucking torn down when I played it.
Yeah, no, we're good. We're gonna sustain that. But
But yeah. Okay. Godzilla. My son turned 68. I think. So yeah, that's neat.
We're getting there, man.
I love him. He's great. He's the reason I do all this bullshit. So, that's unless you have something else, that's pretty much all I had for this meeting.
No, that's it. Other than that, you guys could always send me your spooky stories at 6echoes.se@gmail.com. You can check out my YouTube channel, 6 Echoes. I just put out a new one the other day. I can't remember, but it's there. Check out my YouTube, send it a like, share it. It's all kinds of good stuff. I'm doing it for fun because I like doing it. I definitely just have fun scaring myself trying to record these shits. I think I did. I have more fun doing the B-roll for these things because I'm just like, yeah, that looks creepy. I'm gonna record a couple minutes in that dark ass alleyway with nothing going on. So, but anyway, check out my stuff there, or you can catch me here Sundays and other times with this psychopath.
Listen, I take offense to that.
My favorite psychopaths.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
I love you too, baby bro.
Oh, that's so cute.
Now we have to end it.
I know, but I have to plug my shit because I'm fucking egocentric. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at Twitter at Kaiju Carl. And if you're watching live, you know where to find me. If you're watching the YouTube, you can check it out there, or go to twitch.tv/Kaiju Carl, where I'm usually playing some nonsense. This week, we're going to be playing some more Onimusha. That is going to continue. Rolling through Onimusha 3.
Oh, yeah.
We're about to get Samanosuke's second weapon. We got my baby, the lightning spear. We got that bad boy. So we're about to get Samanosuke's second weapon.
The Kuga? I love Kuga.
Did we get Kuga? Oh, we did get Kuga. Yeah, the Nodachi. Yeah, we did get it.
That's my jam. That's the only one I use. Fucking Kuga's shit.
Right now, that's probably going to be the only one I use for a minute. So we'll see until I get the axe, because Onimusha 2 turned into a big dumb weapon playthrough, because of course it fucking did. So of course. I had several people tell me they've never seen someone go through this entire fucking game with the big dumb hammer. And
I was haven't met you yet.
Yeah, so they clearly have to subscribe and come check out my other streams. Speaking of which, we're probably going to play some fucking Elden Ring at some point, and you're going to see me bop a lot of things with a big dumb weapon.
Oh, yeah, so let's do it.
You'll see that. And I don't know, I'll post up the schedule on Twitter, so if you want to see the schedule, twitch.tv or at Kaiju Carl on Twitter, or twitch.tv/Kaiju Carl. It'll pop up. You got the notification. How about that? Otherwise, you can check out this podcast on things. So, yeah.
Catch us all the time. We're here all the time. Just come find us.
All the time. I'm always here. I'm always watching. Always watching.
That's not scary. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.